Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of Soldiers Talk the Podcast. I'm your host, Staff Sergeant McPherson, and on this show we discuss military topics with current and prior service members. Okay, so today we're gonna be discussing customs and courtesies. Make sure you guys tune in. We'll be posting podcasts twice a week. So just to let you guys know, so we're going to be posting twice a week. Got a lot of information I want to get out to you guys. A lot of stuff I want to talk about and go over. So like I was saying, this week has been pretty hectic. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of changes going on. So I just want to let you guys know that as far as the content that's to come, it won't be like the other content I usually put out. It'll be more of me one-on-one with you guys like I am now. So, and for future references, this is how most of the content gonna be. Of course, I'm still gonna have people call into the podcast, still gonna have people being guests on the podcast, but as far as right now, you guys will have to let me know what you guys want to see from me. Of course, you can always go to the look for updates on Facebook, updates on YouTube. That's where I post it. Of course, you can also follow the podcast on Instagram at Soldiers Talk the Podcast. This podcast is a platform for all branches of the military. I have different guests. I might have a airman on here. I might have a seaman. I don't know what they call the Navy. But yeah, this is for all branches of the military. So we cover a lot of different stuff. I cover a lot of different topics on here. More of so on the Army side, because that's what I'm affiliated with. So that's most of the topics that I'll be discussing are basically U.S. Army topics and U.S. Army stuff. I am, for people who don't know, I am a 92 Yankee, which is a unit supply specialist. So I talk about a lot of supply stuff on my podcast, but I also do other content, and I also have different people on as guests as far as different MOSs. Right now I'm in the medical brigade, so I'm around a lot of 6 to 8 whiskey. So we gonna be having some 6 to 8 whiskey guests. Let you guys know how to do everything when it comes to combat medics. So that's what we're gonna do. So like I say, so today you guys we're gonna be talking about customs and courtesy. So I talked about this before. I talked about this before in a previous video. Well, I don't even think it was a previous video. It was something I was doing. I forgot exactly what I was doing, but I kind of want to get into it a little more and talk about the correct way to do customs and courtesies. So it's a lot to customs and courtesies. It's a lot to it. You know, it ain't just parade rest or attention. It's a lot more to it. When it comes to like saluting the flag, when it comes to different songs in the Army, when it comes to like occasions, for example, like funerals, it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of steps that goes into customs and courtesies, and I want to get into that. Well, right now we're just keeping it at the surface level right now, just for all the people, all the young soldiers out there who might just coming into I'm talking about the Army right now, but this is for right now. That's what I'm covering, the U.S. Army. So, as far as customs and courtesies, of course, you can go to the regulation. The regulation is AR 600-25 for honors and all. If you want to look into that. So, customs and courtesies. So the first thing I want to cover is, well, this is one of the things that I went through before. So I went through actually having to go through an Article 15, which is bad, but that ain't the only time you'll go through this. So reporting to an officer, reporting to any type of commander, any type of thing, any type of stuff like that, any type of thing where you have to report. So when you're reporting, of course, you knock on the door 3 times and wait for the officer to tell you to enter. So once you enter, you go to the position of attention. You salute the officer and report whatever your name is. I'm specialist so-and-so, specialist so-and-so reporting, sir. He's going to tell you to at ease, or you can have a seat, or whatever you say. But you make sure you go to a position of attention and you report to the officer the correct way. So that's a form of military customs and courtesies. So that's just one thing. So of course, when y'all done talking, you go back to position of attention, you salute, you do a about face, and then you exit his office. So that's just one form of it. That's just one form of it, but it's a lot more to do. So another thing, so it's a lot of history dealing with the military hand salute. You know, it's a lot of history with this. Go all the way back to earliest times dealing with that. Well, the hand salute is an old form of customs and courtesies. I'm talking about back to when like they was knights and chivalry, and like way back into like medieval times. The hand salute has been what's the word I'm looking for? I can't get the word out right now. It's been important, put it like that. So yeah, so now we on a hand salute. So of course you salute officers. You salute officers. The main thing I want you guys to get is when you salute an officer, don't be saluting the officer. Don't be extra about it. If you understand what I'm saying. Don't be extra, which means like if you way over across the street somewhere and you see an officer, you do not have to salute him. You only have to salute an officer if they are within 6 paces of you. So if they are within 6 paces to the right or left or in front of you, or however, that's when you render a salute, and when it makes sense. Now, if that officer has something in their hand, of course you still can salute, but you see that they have something in their hand. Or if you got something in your hand, they understand. They should understand that. Now, depending on how that officer take that or whatever, that's on them. But you want to always try to at least have your right hand free when walking or something like that, because you never know when you might come in contact with the officer or with a commanding officer. So when you're rendering the salute, of course, is when you're approaching the officer within 6 paces. You always render salute when you were in uniform and when a flag is being raised or lowered. Of course, when you're entering his office, commanding officer's office, of course you're gonna render salute then also. So the only time you don't render salute to officer is when you are indoors or when you are actively engaged in an activity. So if you playing basketball or anything like that, you actively engaged in activity, y'all doing PT or something, you don't have to salute the officer. And also when you operate in a vehicle. So if you're passing by officer in a vehicle, please do not salute because it's not necessary. Okay, so the use of sir and sergeant. So that's another thing. That's pretty much all I want to cover as far as officers. Of course, the position of attention is another thing. So position of attention, of course, you go to position of attention when you are in an officer's, like when you're talking to an officer or anything like that. So mainly the position of attention. Usually when an officer enters the room uh enters the room full of NCOs, that's when the whoever sees the officer first, of course, you'll call the room to attention, and you'll wait to the command of carry on or something like that. Usually if it's officers around, or if the usually it's a room full of officers, they don't call attention, but they still do call it sometimes. So of course that's when you stand in a position of attention. Like I say, the sir and ma'am, you always address them as that. When you talking to them, you always want to address that yes ma'am, yes sir, and you just give them a salute, yes sir. The morning, the morning, the greeting of the day, how you doing, sir? How you doing, ma'am? And go ahead and about your way. So when it comes to NCOs, and like I said, I'm just covering the basic stuff for you guys. It goes a lot deeper, and I can go into a lot more detail about this stuff, but I'm just keeping it at the surface level for people who like, for the beginners, So, sir, sergeant, of course, you address NCOs as sergeant. You address NCOs as sergeant all the way up until first sergeant. So, first sergeant, sergeant major is the only people you need to call by their whole title. Don't address a first sergeant by saying sergeant. That's disrespectful. Don't address a sergeant major by saying sergeant. That's disrespectful. So, that's when it's as far as NCOs. Of course, when you're talking to an NCO, you want to be at a position of parade rest. So it's just like attention when it comes to officers, but it's parade rest. It's basically a form of respect given to an NCO by a junior enlisted soldier. And also when a senior enlisted soldier or NCO enters the room in an area with junior enlisted soldiers, they supposed to call at ease until the NCO say, till they say carry on or something like that. And you supposed to stand there. Well, that's when they enter the rooms. But when you are talking to an NCO, you're addressing NCO, of course you stand in a position of parade rest until they tell you to rest or relax. Now, this is another thing that's, is a form of discipline, form of respect, but as an NCO, of course you want to let that soldier know to relax, especially if y'all gonna be there talking for a while. Make sure you tell that soldier to rest or relax. That's a respectful thing to do. Of course, that's a proper thing to do. Okay, so what have I covered? So have I covered salute, NCOs, officers, the Army flag? Of course, you salute the flag whenever it's raised or lowered. The Army song, of course, when the Army song is being played, you want to go to position of attention and you want to sing it. Everybody should know the Army song. I'm not gonna sing it, but you want to go to the position of attention when that song is played. Okay, so that's kind of everything I want to cover. That's the basic stuff. You know, we can go more into it to where it's not customs and courtesies, but it's more drill and ceremonies. You know, it's a lot to this. It's a lot to customs and courtesies. Of course, like I told you guys, it's a lot to it. You know, this just the beginning. This just stuff that I wanted to talk to you guys. This stuff I wanted to cover, like right, you know, like the surface level stuff, like I said. But anything I left out, make sure you guys let me know down in the comments. Anything I left out, anything you guys want me to cover as far as customs and courtesies, let me know. Again, make sure you guys go. If you guys get a chance, make sure you guys go purchase my book right here. Growing up in the Army, where I talk about my Army experiences. Make sure you guys also like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. For more content like this, it's gonna be a part 2 to this customs and courtesies video. We're gonna go more into detail about Army funerals, and just just a little more detail. I just covered the surface. I just covered the basic level stuff on this video. So part 2 is we're gonna go into more into it. Okay, make sure you guys stay tuned for the next video, man. You know, this has been another episode of Soldiers Talk the Podcast, and I'll see you guys in formation.